We are here because we were denied a venue at the École Normale Supérieure, the ENS, which means that this university is basically repressing and suppressing the right to free speech and the right to congregation. I feel like we are in a totalitarian country, not in a country that claims democracy. We would expect such behavior in a totalitarian regime, not in a European country. So I think it's particularly important to condemn the repression by the French state, the government, as well as institutions like ENS, suppression of free speech and repression of BDS activists working in solidarity with Palestine, activists who are supporting boycott, divestment and sanctions against Israel, which is a non-violent form of resistance, a non-violent form of struggle based on international law and basic human rights. A denial of that is a denial of free speech, and it should not be accepted by law, and I suggest that we must appeal to higher European courts and even international courts to sue the French state for this suppression. The BDS campaign is based on international law and universal human rights, and it's opposed to all forms of racism, including anti-Semitism. We called for a boycott of Israeli products. That has nothing to do with kosher products. I'm almost getting there. The very last point, next to last point, is about the repression in France against BDS and Palestine activists. As you know, the Palestinian BDS National Committee, the BNC, in November of last year, condemned very strongly the French government, the French state, for its repression of BDS activists. The BNC urges the French government to immediately cease all undemocratic repressive measures against its own conscientious citizens who promote BDS. We also called upon the French state to respect its own legal obligations under international law and to cease its role as the EU's largest supplier of military equipment to Israel. And we specifically mentioned the case against Senator Ali Maboumidian Thierry and activist Omar BARGHOUTI. And we also, of course, mentioned the case, the very special case of Stefanese. The French BDS activists, like their counterparts all over the world, must be commended, not punished, for upholding the French Revolution's slogan of liberté, égalité, fraternité, by contributing to the struggle to end Israel's occupation and legalize racial discrimination, as well as by standing in fraternal solidarity with the Palestinian people in its struggle for self-determination, justice and equality. Our oppression and yours are deeply intertwined and interrelated. Our joint struggle for universal rights and dignified living is not just a noble and compelling slogan that we raise to be self-gratifying. Our common struggle for true emancipation and self-determination is an idea whose time has strongly arrived. After Tunisia and Egypt, it is our time for Palestinian freedom and self-determination. It's time for all the peoples of the world, particularly the most exploited, to reassert our common humanity and reclaim control over our common destiny. I wish you Egypt.
Et vous souhaite résister.